one that we should have on.
I like the thanks for watching. That's...
Hey, how are you doing? Welcome to Let's Taco-bout Star Wars. I am your Han Solo. I'm your captain, Taco, and today I'm Mark Taco Walker. And my Chewbacca to the that direction is Evan. How you doing, Evan?
I'm great. How are you? There's a lot of noise going on. My dogs are barking, and I'm hoping it's fireworks outside. I believe it's
Chewbacca's chorus right there.
Yeah, that's true.
They kind of applauded for you. And today, our passenger on this ship of Star Wars is an amazing nerf herder, also known as Matt. How are you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great today, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. I'm really excited about today's show. Well, I'm always excited about every show we do, but we are ranking the Skywalkers, not the Star Wars. We will never do that. We're ranking the Skywalkers because Evan is very much a canon junkie. He reads all the movies. That's how he does it. And I'm kind of all over the place. I love the movies a lot as well, but I'm very much a Legends lover. So I will be ranking Legends exclusive Skywalkers only. So I will not have Vader or Luke or Leia or any of those people on my list. Evan will have all those guys on his list, the canon exclusives. And I feel like we have to get going because we have a lot ahead of us. So if anyone, there you go. Oh, and also our R2D2 is Soda, who's manning the ship because I can't talk and produce. Well, I can't even produce at the same time, let alone talk and produce. But, yeah. Okay. Do we have anything to say? I feel like I've done all the talking. Are you guys here? Can you hear me?
Let's get going.
Are you just gonna stay muted until it's your turn because of your dogs, Evan?
Forgot I was muted.
Yeah. The whole time I'm like, hello, guys.
Oh, it started again.
We just both mute and leave Mark hanging for a while.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go through all of my bullet points just totally muted.
I won't even notice if you guys left because I just talk so much. I'll get 5 minutes in wait, no one else has spoke yet before I notice.
Right.
All right, so I have 7 Skywalkers. He has 6 Skywalkers. So the way it's going to work is I'm going to start and then finish since I have one more than him. And the way that I worked this is not everyone's going to end with Skywalker. There's going to be a couple of Organas. There's going to be a lot of solos. But the way I saw it is if you're at least one of your parents if you're one of your parents is a Skywalker, but not if one of your parents is a Solo or a Fel or something like that. That's at least how I had to work it because I have a lot of solos. But I don't know, for you Legend people, Jaina Solo went and made the entire Fel dynasty, and that's 80 characters, so I couldn't go off her descendants. So I just had to go straight down to direct Skywalker descendants.
Is it coolest personal preference, most powerful? What's the criteria?
It's 100%. Thank you for asking. It's 100% personal preference. The way I was ranking it is best stories, not just power. But of course, badassery is one of the things. You being the character being extremely powerful will make them up. But I have a character on here that is an extremely powerful guy, and he did a lot, but we just don't really see a lot of that particular Skywalker, so he's not going to rank super high because he doesn't have, or as high as if he would if he had a lot of books and a lot of exposure, things like that.
And so here's kind of mine. For future reference, I feel like this is going to come up a bunch in this show because, Taco and I are very different. power is virtually irrelevant to me. I make all of my arguments essentially from emotion, from my attachment to these characters, and story as well is a great means of doing that.
You're such a Sith. I go completely off of emotion. My lightsaber is red.
Absolutely.
So we have the light side and the dark side here already. It's
that's true. We have the whole Force spectrum.
We have the light side. If anything, I'm a pragmatic, gray Jedi. I'm not even light. I would have left the Force. I would consider Qui-Gon Jinn like a shill.
Right.
I would be that far out.
No, Mark is basically just. He's a cantina owner on some planet that no one's ever heard of before. That's him. No Force sensitivity.
I have the Force, but I just use it to pick up chicks.
Right.
That's it.
Right. It's true. You do it for parlor tricks.
I have the same body. I have the same body I had 5 years ago.
Yes. Absolutely.
I do not have a dad bod. This beard is kept well. It's not. All right, let's just get into it. We have an hour and 15 minutes before we're kicking Evan out for being a bad co-host.
Yes.
So, and we have a lot to get through. So my number 7 is Nat Skywalker. Cue the picture. There he is.
Oh my God.
Look at that.
Wow.
He was never the chosen one. He's the one Skywalker who said never mind on Destiny. He's fine. He's okay. All right. So let me get into it. This is actually going to be my shortest one. He is the least amount for him, but he's from Legacy era. So I'm going to be bringing up 2 eras. So my Jedi are from 2 different eras, or my Skywalkers are from 2 different eras. They're either from the NJO or New Jedi Order era, which is usually a few years to 30 years after the Battle of Yavin, after the last movie. So I think the latest date I have for those characters is 40 ABY, so after Battle of Yavin. So A New Hope is Battle of Yavin. So for the uninitiated. So and then I got Legacy era, which is a lot further, which I think is 180. So think there's a whole generation of Skywalkers that we're skipping, and then we're getting to these ones. So that's the 2 eras. All right. So Legacy era. So this is, multiple 180 to 200 years later. Hey, what's up, Taco? Hey, somebody's talking on the comments. Look, we have somebody watching. Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, so Nat Skywalker, he is a descendant. Why did I say ancestor? Descendant of Luke Skywalker, brother of Cole Skywalker, and uncle of Kade Skywalker. He's kind of a black sheep of the Skywalkers. He wasn't the chosen one or the Grand Master, but he was still super cool in his own right. Besides rocking the super awesome space trucker look that he rocked, he looked like he's part of a really nasty biker gang of Star Wars. That's his look. He does win awards for the best uncle in the galaxy. After the Ossus massacre, the Jedi all went into hiding, and this guy changed his name to Rock. He RAWK. He went into hiding. He changed his name. He fell in love. He adopted a bunch of kids. He just kind of became a really awesome, solid dude. And Kade seeks him out for shelter multiple times. And also, he helped Kade Skywalker get the ship that he flew in. So he's just a really solid support guy, which none of the other Skywalkers are. So that's why he's so low. He's the only side character. But when the Sith attack his planet where there's a bunch of Jedi, he does sacrifice himself to save his family and save a bunch of other sheep. So he was a black sheep for sure, but he was still a complete badass. And that's my number 7, Nate Skywalker.
That was a lot more brief than I thought it would be, so that's a good step.
So it's quarter. It's a quarter of what I got for every other character.
Oh
I just, despite the only Skywalker with a handlebar mustache, he doesn't pull it off.
He looks like a hybrid of Sam Elliott and Wilford Brimley.
Oh my God! Yeah, he he looks like you just can't talk politics with him.
Yeah, it's like it's like you bring a friend to your family reunion. It's like, listen, if this guy tries to pull you aside, do not engage.
Vader has good ideas.
Don't accept any pamphlets from him.
Yes, absolutely not.
Like, not at all. Like, he's gonna start bringing up how Vader was wrong, but he had some good ideas. You know?
He's gonna be handing out copies of the Gideon Jedi text at the stoplights.
And he's gonna be wearing a 1%. He's gonna be wearing a 1% space biker jacket. Well, we can move right on because cool. I would love for you. It says your lowest ranked one, so please tell me everything there is to know about Rey.
No, it's not Rey. I'm positive here about Rey. Let me also preface this with the fact that I love every Skywalker. I think every Skywalker has a compelling story to them. But my first pick, my least favorite of these, it's not to say I don't like this person, is Shmi Skywalker. Just because she has the least to do. You were so ready with that. My God. You knew exactly who the fuck I was going to say.
Everybody knew. If you would have put any of the Jedi underneath Shmi, I'd be like, what?
Right. No, I like Shmi a lot. Like, I think Shmi is a very kind and warm and loving kind of presence. I think Pernilla August does a fucking phenomenal job with the character. She is Anakin's mother, obviously. Her and Anakin were sold into slavery on Tatooine. Forgot how the transaction exactly works, but like they were originally owned by Gordola the Hutt, and eventually they came to be owned by Watto. And so yeah, she, like I said, she's very kind. She's a peaceful presence in the movies. She has some great lines here and there, but ultimately, like, the reason I ranked her so low is like ultimately her presence in the story is mostly to serve as motivation for Anakin. And she, like, one of the things she says, you can't stop the change any more than you can stop the suns from setting. I think that's a great line. It's one of those things. It's like jokey because it's Tatooine. It's like,
yeah, the suns from setting.
Yeah, it's but I like that. I like her whole idea. Like when Anakin leaves, like I said before, every Star Wars movie has at least one moment that is capable of bringing me to tears, and I think the one real tearjerker in the Phantom Menace is when Anakin leaves, and she says, "Be brave and don't look back." And like the way she handles that, she knows that Anakin is off to do great things. She's comfortable not being set free if it means that her son is set free. And so I think she's a great person. And then she dies. She dies when Anakin goes back to see her. I'll get more into that when I get into Anakin's story, but yeah, no, she's a tragic character, but she's very kind nonetheless.
I don't believe her. I think she knows who the dad is. I think it wasn't Immaculate Conception.
Right.
I think we should put her on Maury, and like 3 people are going to come out. One of them's going to be Plagueis.
Yeah, no, I was going to say it's literally
is going to be the dad.
Yeah, Plagueis just showed up on Tatooine.
Did you manipulate the midichlorians? And he's like, yeah, dude.
Yes, absolutely. That's canonically how it worked. No, but I like Shmi. I like Shmi Skywalker. But all the other ones from here on out, I have a lot more compelling reasons for liking them. Shmi she is incidentally a Skywalker that is not as important to the story as the other characters.
She at least is one of the well-written motivating factors for Anakin's descent instead of one of the dumb reasons. So
I think here's what I'll say about that. I think if you look at, regardless of execution, you can argue about execution in the movies or whatever. I think on paper, Anakin's descent is like this immaculately conceived story. I think there's all these things that are placed so expertly story-wise that are just like dominoes. It's like that picture of like the one really little domino and the one really big, like it leads up to the big domino at the end. It's like, oh yeah, like the ship basically, like, or Qui-Gon using the Force on a dice roll ends up being like all the Jedi get extinguished in the galaxy. And no, so all these little moments that Anakin has leading to his downfall, or I really like those. I really like Shmi being a part of that too.
I like just thinking about like him using the Force on that chance cube, and you just get like a some years later, and just younglings being slaughtered.
Right. Just hard cut. That's great. Yeah.
Why'd you have to gamble on a slave boy?
Right. You bet on the wrong horse, Qui-Gon.
Sebulba would have made a way better apprentice. All
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
Sebulba was the real virgins in the Force.
All right, I got. It's literally they like double each other. So the next one's like about double the size of Nat, and then they just get bigger and bigger. So, but I want to agree with what you said there. And because it comes in my next one. Nat Skywalker was really easy to put down at the bottom. None of these other ones were. Like, honestly, this was a really hard list to put together.
Yeah.
And the main reason for my list is all of these guys, except for a couple, were main characters in their own books. And they have multiple books and adventures and all this stuff. And I have to skip over so much. But they are so fleshed out, and it's just something the movies can't do. Like we've only had so many movies, as opposed to how many books were in the New Jedi Order series, like the NJO, like way more than we have movies. So it's just
40.
It's really hard to take these really. How much?
Around 40.
Yeah, 40. Yeah, geez. And the Wikipedia page is also pretty long. Geez, but but yeah. So it's just these characters are so fleshed out, and it's hard to justify one being like. It was really hard to place these. That's all I got to say. So all these guys have amazing stories, and just because I'm ranking this specific character 6 doesn't mean he sucks. He's super awesome. There's just a lot of really awesome Skywalkers. All right. So my number 6 is Ben Skywalker. Yeah, Space Ginger. Look at that. Somebody's mom is Mara Jade, who is not on my list. She married into it. She's a fake Skywalker. All right, so born in 26 ABY, so 26 years after that, 11, son of Luke Skywalker and Mara Jade Skywalker, this little ginger came into a galaxy torn by war only a year after the Yuuzhan Vong started their invasion. His early life was very traumatic. His infant years consisted of many kidnapping plots. That's going to be a very big trend for these Skywalker kids. They were all trying to be kidnapped as babies. That's apparently a thing. People love kidnapping Skywalker babies. Then the fall of Coruscant happened to the Vong, and the death of his cousin Anakin Solo. Spoilers. Only a year after he was born. They did a lot of moving around due to all the hardships of his early life and all the bullshit he was put through during the Yuuzhan Vong War. He completely cut himself off from the Force as a child. Like, he's like, no, I'm over this crap. Because he was literally feeling the pain of the Yuuzhan Vong War. And it was just too much. It's too much for a kid. I completely agree with the kid. Like, it's too much for a kid to handle. And so he said he wanted to live life to do it the hard way as non-Force sensitive. Your dog is on point today. So he wanted to live life the hard way, and he almost made it akin to his uncle Han Solo. Like, Han Solo's an awesome badass, and he doesn't have the Force. So I'm just going to cut myself off, and I'm going to do it the hard way. So in 35 ABY, not catching a break, 8-year-old Ben Skywalker, gets pulled into the Swarm Wars, which is a massive war involving Killiks. They're like a bug species. I'm not gonna get into, so I'm pretty much skipping over all that. So after years after all that, the Corellia system leaves the Galactic Alliance, and it sparks the Second Civil War. Ben, no longer cut off to the Force, joins the GAG, which is the Galactic Alliance Guard, under the leadership of his cousin, Jacen Solo. Jacen secretly fell to the dark side behind everyone's back, spoilers for my Jason segment. And he starts sending Ben, without Ben knowing he fell to the dark side, he starts sending Ben on like increasingly like messed up missions to try to like low key get him some of those dark side points. And so including assassinating politicians. So then Jason eventually goes full Sith, taking over the Galactic Alliance, and he kills Ben's mom, Mara Jade Skywalker. So Ben swears revenge, but Jason's sister beats him to the punch and kills Jason first. And in 43 ABY, due to Luke Skywalker's poor handling of Jason Solo, because the galaxy essentially blames Luke and Jedis as a whole for all the bad stuff that's happened like the past 100 years, and they blame Luke specifically for Jason falling, so they kick him out of the Alliance, and he goes into the unknown regions. They eventually meet some Sith. Ben like falls in love with a Sith chick, and they fight a literal Force god named Abeloth, which I am not going to get into Abeloth at all. She's going to come up a lot. I'm not going to get into Abeloth. And then he eventually falls in love with a Sith apprentice named Vestara Kai. There's a lot of Kais. And they live happily ever after. So he's like the only Skywalker to live happily ever after. It's pretty great. And that's it. That's the life of Ben Solo, my number 6.
You're doing great. You're doing great on time.
We're only 21 minutes in. I got a lot left.
Right.
He's also the one that all the Skywalkers in the other area you're talking about are descended from.
Yes, correct. Yep. So all of Legacy era are all descended from Ben Skywalker. Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Hey, you are here for a reason.
Yeah, I know that era. That's my nerddom.
Wait, what is your hat? Oh, what does it say? Oh, nice.
Be amazing.
I love Spider-Man. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I get an Amazing Spider-Man.
That's why I'm amazing nerf herder.
Real quick, have you seen? I'm sure you've seen Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah, it's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
Such a good movie.
Anyway,
best Spider-Man movie. I didn't want to get into a Marvel tangent, and then you brought up a Marvel.
Well, I can bring it back because one of the coolest things about Ben there was just the concept between him and his evil uncle and how he's trying to be turned for a considerable amount of time there.
Evil cousin.
Well, the age difference though. I mean, it's basically like an uncle relationship.
Yeah. And that's one thing I actually really like about that is he started doing dark side stuff, not knowing that Jason even fell. So Jason's like slightly trying to manipulate him, like, "Hey, I got a secret mission. You want to murder somebody for me?" It probably started out small, like, "You want to steal like some cigarettes for me?" And then it's like, "Hey, smoke this joint." Then eventually it's like, "Your mission, go do some drugs." And then it's like, you know, it just gets worse and worse and worse all the way to kill politicians. That's right. Cigarettes lead to assassinations. You heard it here, folks.
You heard it here first.
It's a slippery slope.
It is. Cigarettes are the gateway drug to assassination. You heard it here.
I mean, most assassins probably have smoked at one point.
I would imagine a lot of assassins are like teetotalers.
Logo now, just the little star.
No, it's
yeah. I was gonna say, if anyone has any comments on the amazing ginger that is Ben Skywalker before we move on to Evan's next one.
A lot of the extended universe stuff there. I mean, I think wait till you get into the other solos because they're also intertwined.
Yeah, it's true. All right. Well, then we definitely will because I'll get into all of them. All right. Let's talk about. I want to guess, but go.
I know who you're gonna guess.
I know who it would be for me because you didn't use them already.
Right.
It's not your lowest one.
I want to preface this again by saying I genuinely love this character. Like I found this character very compelling. I found the 4 that are ranked above this character to be more compelling. But
you got a stacked list. You got still
compelling. I know they're all fucking awesome. But it's Rey. It is Rey Skywalker.
Oh.
Yes!
That's the only Rey that everyone loves, though. Not everyone loves the other Rey.
Everyone loves.
Oh my god!
Yes.
Oh, Soda with the right hook. Oh,
That is the greatest thing you've ever done, Soto.
Wow. I thought it was going to be a different character from that
Did you set?
trilogy.
Please tell me you didn't set that up. You didn't set that up, did you? Or did you?
I didn't do it.
Okay,
No.
awesome. I didn't either.
Dude, Soda. That's all Soda, dude.
I'm just going to hop in here this one time and say, when you guys send me these things, the gears start kicking. So I'm not telling you any of these things. You won't know when. Guarantee you, there's more.
Yesterday. He goes, dude, I got tricks up my sleeve. I'm like, good, man. Let's do it.
And
no, I saw this thing. It was like it was ultraviolet ray, and then it was just like, like UV rays. Like it was a picture of UV rays, and then it said ultraviolet ray, and then it was a picture of Ray Romano with a gun. It said, "Hey, I'll fucking kill you." Got me. That's good.
All right. Okay, so let's talk about Ray, no last name / 2 other last names.
Right. So Ray Skywalker. She was sold into a life of labor on Jakku. She is part of a dyad in the Force with another Skywalker, who I will get into.
Bullshit. Stupid bullshit.
Hey,
sorry,
you notice how I'm being positive, folks. If you like that, comment below. Ask me a question. How do I do it?
Whenever you talk about dyads and other really dumb stuff, I get this weird sickness.
Oh no, the dyad's awesome. The dyad was so present even before Episode 9, like two sides of the same coin. I love that.
Right, I love
that's what makes her compelling to me. Is like this. Yeah. Anyway, so she's part of a dyad in the Force with Ben Solo. She is genuinely one of the kindest characters in the films. Like even in The Force Awakens, which I really love that movie in a lot of ways. I'm more of a Last Jedi fan, obviously, for a lot of people. But I find her very compelling in both of those movies because you see all these instances like she refuses to sell BB-8 because she knows that there's something in her that tells her not to. She's been sold before. And regardless of how much it would mean for her, Unkar Plutt offers her 60 portions to basically take BB-8 off her hands, and she says no. And that's like days upon days of food that she would not have otherwise. And so, yeah, no, she's very kind. I found her incredibly charming in these movies. There's the scene, what really, I connected so much with her when I first saw the movie. I was in an interesting career spot. I didn't know like what I was going to do with my life. I felt like I was kind of stuck where I was. And so there's that scene when she's in Nima Outpost, or yeah, I guess it is Nima Outpost. She's cleaning off like a piece of a ship that she stole out of the Star Destroyer. And she looks across the way and there's this old woman doing the same thing. And she's like, shit, like I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. And I love that. Like, I love stuff like that, little moments that show you her personality without needing to say anything verbally. Yeah, she's another great thing in Force Awakens. She is already escaping by herself when she's on the Starkiller base, but Finn and company, they come back for her. And when she finds out that they came back to save her, she gets very emotional and she hugs Finn. And it's because no one has ever done anything like that for her before. She's always been out for herself, trying to provide and survive for herself. And this is the first time somebody's been like, no, like you matter. And yeah, it's great. Like that's, she's been, a lot of people complained about her abilities in the Force. Quiet. Her abilities in the Force without training. They complained about her being able to fight. They complained about her being able to fly the Falcon. First of all, she communicates in the film that she's a pilot. She's like actually a pilot already. Second of all, why do we not care that Anakin or Luke is naturally gifted in the Force without training? Hey, stop. Sorry. But yeah, I love her because she's naturally strong without having to. I don't think she needs to be a Palpatine either. That's a big point of contention for me. I think it's more compelling if she's a nobody, if she's just a random person that was born from nothing. Yeah, another quote I have, the light, it's always been there. It'll guide you. Said by Maz Kanata about her. Yeah, the scene. Also, I'll get into this a little later, but there's a scene in The Last Jedi that kills me. It is the one when they are in the hut projecting. They're like seeing each other through the Force, and they're about to touch hands for the first time. They're two sides of the same coin. Like I said, the dyad is very real, and I'll get more into that scene later. But I love all of that. I love her character.
I think you're describing both the best and worst part of the way J.J. Abrams made those movies. Like, if you look at Luke when he's going through A New Hope, he's sitting there going the whole time, I'm a great pilot. No, you don't get it. I'm a great pilot. And Rey, she never really says it. I mean, she subtly indicates it.
Right.
But so then people were like, well, how does she know how to fly? Well, they didn't give you a backstory on anybody.
That's fair.
You just pop into the story. And I think that's the biggest failing of Force Awakens is, for those of us who've been following Star Wars for so long, it's like, what's the First Order? Who is Rey? We just want a little bit more information.
Sure.
But I would say, she's a fine character. It's a lot of show and not tell, that classic thing of film school, which I think Abrams relied on too much, but definitely improves in Last Jedi, which is the best of the Disney movies beyond Solo, and Rise of Skywalker, which is actually better than Force Awakens, in my opinion. I know I'm the only one who.
Whoa.
That's fair.
Whoa. All right.
No, I think. See, I'm a big prequel guy, so I love the nice. I love the political angle. So I definitely would have liked to have gotten more of the political background in The Force Awakens. Because knowing behind the scenes, like in the books and stuff, what the relationship between the Republic and the First Order is, I think it's really compelling. I think it would have been great to.
And you're right. And I wish they explored that a lot more of the Republic being the political side. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like the First Order was essentially supposed to be like the military side, and it was kind of the First Order was. No, am I wrong? I thought it was a military coup. It was a terrorist regime. Okay.
Yeah,
an Imperial Remnant terrorist.
Republic they have like a military. It's very weak, but they have like fighters and stuff. The Resistance is like this underground movement that Leia starts to combat the First Order because she's the only one that believes they're a real threat. And the First Order is like this terrorist league that's amassing power on the other side of the galaxy. Nobody believes her. And suddenly the First Order destroys the entire system of government in one fell swoop. And it's really compelling if you know that, but like the movie doesn't go into it. But
comment more on the Force diadem, but unfortunately there's 3 more characters that need to be talked about before we can really discuss that.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of characters, and we're like almost halfway into the time we have. So I gotta now read a bunch. So
do it.
I actually got a lot that I have to do against Rey isn't on the character herself. You could easily say, hey, they're making a Rey movie, and somebody who knows how to write movies is writing it. I'd be like, okay, cool. I blame the script writers for me not being for that character, and it's not really. I don't really blame the character themselves. It's all like the prequel-itis. Like I love the world of the prequels when the script was just so weak, and that's kind of what I blame a lot for Rey. And I got nothing against. I actually got nothing against Rey. Good. You always convince my heart.
Right, that's the thing.
It's like, I hate Rey, and then you're like, okay, you want to cry right now? You always do that. No. We're moving on. Thank you, Rey.
You want to cry about everybody loves Raymond right now? I will talk to you about Frank.
All right, we got to get into my number 5 because I got 5 left.
Yeah, go for it.
And we don't have a lot of time, and they will not all be as short as my last 2. You good, Nerf Herder?
I'm good.
All right, you're starting to freeze, so I'll just talk for a while as your internet catches up. Okay, so number 5, I got Anakin Solo. Picture. Yeah, there he is. Nice jacket. All right, so Anakin Solo was born in 10 ABY to Han Solo and Leia Organa Solo. He's the youngest of 3 kids, and he's the first of these 3 I'm talking about. So Jason and Jana being his older siblings who are twins. So as a baby, Palpatine, I guess, tried to take over his body in utero. And then again, after it was born, that's some really awesome stuff. To try to sustain his spirit in a more powerful body. I just had to throw that in because it's just so crazy. Where it's like, I want to be born again. What are you talking about, Palpatine? What do you want? Well, you want to be a vulnerable little baby that somebody could just kill? End of the Empire. Anyways,
Palpatine has 30 secret plans, Mark. 30.
yeah, yeah, and he doesn't. He doesn't even know half of them. All right, so at the age of 11, he joined his uncle's Jedi Praxium on Yavin 4. So just so you know, Luke Skywalker had a Jedi Praxium, so his own Jedi Order on Yavin 4. So he joined it at age of 11. Yavin 4 was, of course, the planet during the last battle in A New Hope with all the cool pyramids. All right, anyways. He feared failing or falling to the dark side like his namesake, like Anakin Skywalker. So he actively worked super hard to stay to the light. Then at the Jedi school, he became fast friends with a chick named Tahari Vela. I just say Tahiri. Tahiri. All right. Star Wars names. Tahiri was a cute blonde Jedi chick from Tatooine. I can't even say that planet. I'm going to move on. It's the most famous planet. Him and Tahiri go on a handful of Jedi missions and space adventures and stuff, and lots of cool stuff I can't get into. The Yuuzhan Vong War starts in 25 ABY. These crazy aliens invade the galaxy, hoping to take it over. These homeboys were untouched by the Force. So the Yuuzhan Vong were intergalactical aliens that couldn't be touched by the Force. Mostly, if you really are extremely powerful, you might be able to, but normally it's not like they're pretty much immune to the Force. On a trip to the planet of Serpendal, the Vong forced a moon into a collision course with the planet. This is going to be my saddest thing. In an attempt to save Anakin Solo, Chewbacca saved him and got crushed by the moon and died. Han blamed his son for this, and they had a falling out for months. Why? Okay, this is like my dumb stuff. Like, why? Why would you kill Chewie to be crushed by a moon?
I heard about that part, though.
My issues, but we'll move on. Knowing that direct Force attacks don't work on the Vong, Anakin started developing tactics that would work. So, Evan tears up. Sorry. Chewbacca died. Let me talk about how that makes me feel. That's you, Evan.
That's 100% accurate.
Yeah. All right, so he started developing Force tactics that would work against the Yuuzhan Vong instead of like directly attacking them with the Force. So he rediscovered the Lost Force skill battle meditation, which is like the prerequisite to Force meld or battle meld, where you actually meld all your minds together. It's like hive mind kind of through the Force. So it allowed his siblings to fight super coordinated. So essentially he bolstered his attack that way with the Force instead of like attacking them with the Force, if that makes sense. Like, so that helped win a lot of battles with him developing that technique. He also designed a prototype called I believe the YVH droids, but they're the Yuuzhan Vong hunter droids. He designed a prototype that he gave to Lando, and Lando actually started manufacturing them to help fight against the Vongs. It was like these cool droids. I'm skipping over a lot of battles and war stuff, such as like the Battle of Dantooine and the Battle of Ithor. So sorry, but I have to skip over a lot. To regain the support of the Jedi, Anakin decided to repair the ancient center point station in the Corellian system. It's this really cool, like, ancient Death Star-y type thing that two planets rotate around, center point station. Discovering that that it had like the power of mass destruction. After repairing it, his older brother, Jason, convinced him not to use it, saying it wasn't the Jedi way. Unfortunately, their jerk cousin, a dude named Thraken Solo, I don't know who this guy is, fired it anyways, destroying the Yuuzhan Vong fleet, but also destroying a huge amount of their own fleet, or the Happen fleet. This furthered the rift between Hapen. Yeah. Thank you, Nerfherder. Hapen fleet. This furthered the rift between the two brothers. Anakin knowing that if he
This is called Two Brothers.
This is called Two Brothers. All right, Rick and Morty, and then we can move on. Okay, I can't say Two Brothers without hearing that anymore. All right, so he blamed Jason because he thought since he was just a powerful Jedi and he knew what he was doing, that he could use the center point station to destroy the Yuuzhan Vong without messing up and destroying their own guys. So he blamed Jason for not letting him do that. Yeah. So in 27 ABY, the Vong created a super rodent Jedi killer named the Voxen. These things are awesome, by the way. Anakin put together a Jedi strike team to kill the Voxen Queen. Lando pretended to defect to the Vong, which I love that idea. Like, hey man, I'm Lando Calrissian, I'm with you now. You know, I just want to see that scene. And he tried to sell these extremely powerful Jedi as hostages. Okay. Once in captivity, the Jedi attacked, and the mission quickly turned messy. I'm skipping over all the bloody details. There's some torturing and some Jedi dying, and then I'm skipping over. But it ended with Anakin. Once again, this will come up a lot. This is a trend with these Skywalker types, holding off the Vong so his family can escape. And as he gets completely overwhelmed, and before he can, he tries to get a little bit of sugar from Tahari. He's like, hey, chick who I learned Jedi stuff with, can I have a smooch before I go and do the hero stuff? And she turns him down. She's like, no smooch. And he went out there without a smooch, which I maintain is why he failed. Okay, anyways. So he gets rejected by the kiss. He goes out, fights the Vong, gets overwhelmed. He taps into some crazy light side force energy. Like a lot of him, not all of him, but a lot of him starts to glow white with pure energy. And he starts to literally disintegrate the Vong. These guys who normally can't be touched, he just starts ripping them apart. However, it's not enough. And he still gets overwhelmed. And he dies as he's a beacon of light. And later, he returns as a force ghost to help his family. So there you go. Anakin Solo.
The Force Ghost return is crucial. That's what the family needs.
So three things I've learned. Sacrificing yourself to save other Skywalkers, and then trying to get kidnapped as an infant and returning as a Force Ghost. That's all Skywalkers do.
It's in the DNA. It's in the midichlorians.
Yeah, the midichlorians just have the one script and they don't like deviating from it. All right, we got another Skywalker. What do we do? Let's try to get him kidnapped. All right, thank you, other midichlorian.
Wow.
Okay. Also, so here's just a cool thing. It's not something written down, but this was actually one of the first. He's like a Ned Starkey type character. He was Anakin was the main character of the first set. I don't know how many of the new Jedi Order books, and he's like the red herring protagonist because everyone assumes he's going to be the guy, and then they kill him off this way, and then it starts to focus on Jason Solo after this. So it's just that cool example George R. Martin copied from them is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. Everyone copied from the Skywalkers.
Yeah, they did it first. I got beheaded by the Lannisters first from Anakin. Nerf Herder, you got anything to say before we move on?
I mean, of the Solos, I think he is the least interesting. And that says something because that's a very interesting story we just heard. And that's crazy. He is the one that I remember the least about, honestly. I never read all the Yuuzhan Vong books because there are 20 of them.
Oh, my God.
I didn't realize there were that many.
There's a lot, dude.
I've never even picked up a Yuuzhan Vong book. So.
I've only read a few.
And that's what we're here for. This is an intervention to get you into the drug of Yuuzhan Vong. We brought you here today. Just try it, man.
Yeah. Ooh, is it?
He's also the only Skywalker who dies, really, I think, pretty much. I mean,
this young, you mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot that die.
Well, eventually, of old age and stuff.
Yeah, they turn dark side and die, which we're gonna get to Probably in Evan's next one.
Wait,
Maybe? I don't know.
wait. Oh, well,
You either live long enough to be a Grandmaster or you die as a Sith.
Well-
or you're Nat Skywalker and you fuck up and grow a mustache.
this is okay. So this is going to be controversial. My next
If it's
Skywalker.
Luke or Vader, I'm gonna
It
get
will be
up.
controversial.
I'm gonna get up and leave.
It is Anakin Skywalker. Hey, we got him. So again, Anakin's a fucking immaculate character. So that should tell you how much esteem I hold the next three in.
Anakin and Vader, right? You're lumping
Yes.
these in as one
Yes.
character?
Yeah. All three of the others are great. Are just fantastic. Okay, so initially, Qui-Gon believed Anakin was the chosen one. When he found him at 9 years old on Tatooine, thank you, Weird Al. And it's heavily implied that he was created by Sith conspiracy. It's never been outright said. It has been hinted at multiple times. I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, Darth Plagueis made Anakin, I think.
Yeah, you did.
But
Yeah, you did.
he's somebody who was not. I mean, first of all, he was too old in the way that like he developed too many emotional attachments to like have a normal upbringing once he immediately went into this world where like you're no longer allowed to have those. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Like the way he was constantly battling his anger, his feelings for other people. He promised that he would come back to free his mother on Tatooine. And when he did, she died in his arms. And that's heartbreaking. That's like the saddest shit that I've ever there's like he says he had a dream that he was a Jedi and he came back and freed all the slaves. And instead he came back and his mom died and he murdered an entire village of Tusken Raiders. And also the remnants of that Tusken Raider village grew to worship him in canon. Like that's like a thing.
Really?
Yeah, they talked of this dark warrior with like a flaming sword. And they worship him. It's kind of cool.
That's actually super awesome.
It's pretty neat. And so Palpatine, if you watch, this is why I like the prequels so much, is the Palpatine stuff. If you watch those movies, you watch him pulling the strings on Anakin for decades. Like he's just wanting this boy to like to fall. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Last show, guys. Thanks.
Qui-Gon and
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, no, it was nice. That was good. No,
No, you see like this 9-year-old boy walk by like Palpatine and Padme, and they're both like, yeah, wait, why are you looking at him?
no.
And Qui-Gon. No,
Last-
and Qui-Gon.
Yeah, and Qui-Gon's like, I'm going to learn you, boy.
Yes. Oh, my God.
He's
Anyway.
special.
All right, I'll stop. It's just, come on. I'm sorry. They're there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't not say them.
Okay.
Go
Here we
ahead.
go. Palpatine pulled the strings for a long time. He made Anakin believe that he was better than the Jedi Council and better than what they were having him do. And so Anakin started to believe that. He started to believe that he was better than what he was allowed to be. Which, I mean, he was. Like, that's not wrong necessarily. I believe the Jedi were wrong in refusing him his emotions. Like, a big point of the prequels is that the Jedi were wrong. Like, they fucked up.
And I agree.
Qui-Gon would not have fucked up. That's why I like him so much. He would have been great. But so Anakin lived as Vader after his fall for 30 years, or not 30 years, sorry, over 20 years, 23 years, I think specifically. He only died. Do you realize Vader only died when he was like 45 years old?
Yeah, I know.
What a messed up life. Anyway,
Yeah.
I
I did that math he was before, and I was like, wait, he's only in his 40s?
Isn't that weird? I always thought, because like you look at Sebastian Shaw when you're a kid, and you're like, oh, this is like a 70-year-old man. Maybe not quite that old, but like.
Well, to be fair, dark side degradation's a thing.
That's
Apparently
true.
It takes your
That's
eyebrows.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. So here, I like to point out a few of the moments that really mean something to me with these characters. The best moment that I like with Vader actually in these movies for me is when Luke turns himself over on Endor. and they have this little heart-to-heart on the bridge because now Luke knows that Vader's his father. Like, he now knows that he's not speaking to this ultimate badass. He's speaking to, like, the person who created him. And he doesn't want to fight him. He wants to bring him back. And he says, come with me. Vader says, Obi-Wan once thought as you do. Luke says, I feel the conflict within you. Let go of your hate. And then Vader drops the fucking bombshell. He says, it is too late for me, son. And that it's a single tear going down the mask. That's it. No, that's like I love the pain in that line, man. Vader is such a sad character. And he didn't. Dave Filoni, like all these people have talked about this, like he didn't really feel that conflict with like Ahsoka or anybody until his family started coming back and like his family started making appearances in his life. That was what really started to tempt him to come back to the light.
Specifically why Palpatine knew to hide. Like, you didn't give a crap about the other Jedi. Like, go murder your friends, but I'm going to hide your kids from you.
No, it's true. And he believed that Luke was dead. Like, until the Death Star, like, he thought that, first of all, there was only one child and that child was dead. And so, in the comics, like Boba Fett is the one that finds out, and he tells him. And there's this beautiful moment. Vader's on the bridge of a Star Destroyer, and he learns that he has a son, and the glass starts crackling in front of him. It's awesome. It's so cool.
I love that book. It was a really good book.
No, I love Vader. So eventually, Luke is correct, and Vader still has good in him. He feels compelled by his son to return to the light. He kills Palpatine and redeems himself in death, cementing himself as the true chosen one, which a lot of people still debate. I don't know why he's the chosen one. Like, he's absolutely the chosen one.
Yeah,
I thought Luke was the chosen one.
No, he's just better at it. He was just better at being the chosen one.
Luke is he's like the crucial piece of the puzzle that cements him as the chosen one. Like, without Luke, it doesn't happen.
But without Anakin, there would be a Luke.
That's how does kill Palpatine too.
Anakin is the one that truly brings balance.
Kind of kills Palpatine. He comes back in both of these.
Well, Palpatine has 30 backup secret plans. We know about like 5 of them so far. Just wait, they'll make more.
Somehow Palpatine returned. I'm not gonna say how,
dude. Honestly, in Legends, you know how many secret apprentices show up? Like,
and
honestly, like
Palpatine comes back too. It's
like
ridiculous.
5. Yeah, before the clones start coming in, there's like Cedrus, there's Dark Lady Lamaya, there's Mara Jade Skywalker. Those are just top of my head. There's so many and if Vader dies, you're my number one. Now get out of here. And if Vader dies, you're my number one. He says it to like 5
dudes. You exist.
That's in canon too. He has like this like weird robotics technician whip up all these like fake apprentices.
The Mon Calamari Grievous.
Yeah. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah. No, he's always testing he's always testing Vader to make him feel like he's not worth anything. And like he made him build a castle, a fortress overlooking the site of his greatest failure. That is why the castle is on Mustafar.
That's like negging to the ultimate level.
Yes. They're like, no, he's like,
but you're so ugly.
Vader is forever the guy at the office that just started this week. That's what Palpatine is always running by Vader and like zhuzhing his hair.
That's like he's always a toxic work environment too.
Palpatine is always walking past Vader and shark finning him.
Every time he compliments another new guy, he accidentally sends the email to Vader too. You're doing really good, Admiral whatever. And Vader's like,
Vader is CC'd on every positive Imperial email. Oh my god. No, I love Anakin. He's the main character of Star Wars by all means. And he's compelling. I like him. Sue me.
This is why we didn't do the same list. Right here, because Vader would have been my number one. Out of canon characters, Vader's my number one.
This is how I prove that power is irrelevant to me, because he's like the most powerful being ever.
Oh, absolutely. But power is irrelevant.
I think.
Power's mostly irrelevant to me too, but just the people with the more compelling stories, the books gave more stuff to.
Obviously, and here behind me.
Oh, nice.
Obviously, we all think Vader is. I mean, he's the best villain in all of Star Wars. Vader himself, when he's Vader, is awesome. Anakin before the fall. And you're talking about attachment and like Clone Wars, I think, is actually where he's written best. It's the only place you actually see how Anakin files, how Tarkin and Anakin have a similar philosophy, which is some of the best writing behind him. But I was just watching it again recently, and man, his attachment problems. Like, yeah, the Jedi screwed up. He's wandering around the Jedi being like, if Ahsoka dies, I'm going to fucking get angry and destroy everything. And the Jedi are like,
I will kill an entire village of innocent creatures.
No, honestly, they're like, hey, man, we're not supposed to have attachment. He's like, oh, have you guys met my new apprentice? I named her Smet, whatever. Snips. Oh, I rub her head every time she does. Not Smets. No. Snips, and I rub her head every time she does something good. And it's like, dude, why are you forming an attachment?
Right.
You're like
no,
he's so bad at that.
About it. All the Jedi are just like, well, we trust you, Anakin. That's an interesting way you're so friendly with your Padawan.
You love that dark side skating. All right, moving on, guys.
No, in the Clone Wars, when Ahsoka leaves, obviously Anakin chases after her, but there's this beautiful thing somebody pointed out to me where he leaves and Obi-Wan goes after Anakin, but Plo Koon grabs his shoulder and he stops.
Really?
So, yeah, that is everything you need to know about those characters.
Fucking Plo Koon.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even get me started on the councils. The council, they're the real Sith. Like, they so like, man, that Palpatine guy looks like our exact villain.
Right.
You guys want to go play laser swords together?
Mace Windu is a dick. Mace Windu.
I don't love Mace Windu. But we got a lot of guys to get through.
Yeah, go ahead. Go
past Vader. Because we have now like 15 to 30 minutes left.
I'll say 30 minutes safely. I'm good.
Okay, but I got the majority of my characters.
Go ahead.
All right. So my number 4. So this is a good reason or excuse or example of this guy has been featured less than the last 2, but I really love his story. And a lot of this guy's stuff is like hearsay. Like he dies in the beginning of his stuff, and then they constantly are like, that guy was awesome. And that guy, my number 4, is Cole Skywalker. Cue the picture. That's not Cole Skywalker.
Yes. Dylan
there
Skywalker.
He is. Bringing on the gingers. I love how much they all stay gingers after Mara Jade threw that in there. But Cole Skywalker is an absolute, like, he's the epitome of an absolute badass. So let's get into it. This Skywalker, blah, 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 blah. I already said all that. So born during the Legacy era, younger brother to Nat Skywalker, and father to Kade Skywalker, which I'll get to later. So he was a great Jedi Master and the head of the Jedi Council at that time, making him one of the 2 Skywalkers in Legends to become Grand Master. The other one being Grand Master Luke, who, by the way, would be my number 1 of all list. I think the Legends character of Luke is one of the best written characters ever. But anyways, I love Grandmaster Luke. So, but we're talking about Cole. He was renowned for being a great teacher, being a master of the Jedi Wolf Sazin, and in missions alongside the Imperial agent Morgan Cord, he fell in love, and the couple had a kid they named Kade Skywalker. Knowing the Jedi and the Empire would never accept their love, she left Cole and Kade, and it's actually like a really touching scene where he's like, just stay here and live on this planet and help me raise our kid. And she's like, what, just hang out with the Jedi? Like, no, I have a life. Bye. And she just ditched her son, and her son never met her, and it's really touching. But yeah, so she's like, no, I'm not just gonna hang out and change the toilet paper at the Jedi Academy. Like, no, I gotta go live my own life. So Cole spearheaded the OSIS project, which was designed. So this is 100 years after the Yuuzhan Vong War. So the OSIS project was designed to rehabilitate the Yuuzhan Vong's public image by having them restore war-torn worlds, but by biotechnical experiment, whatever you want to call it. It was sabotaged by the One Sith Order, which we'll get into, provoking the war in 127 ABY between the Fel Empire. So the Fel Empire joined the One Sith, and the Galactic Alliance joined the Jedi. So that's what this war was. So the Fel Empire. Yeah, I don't have to get into it. So yeah, that's what the war. So it was the Sith and the Fel Empire, and then the Galactic Alliance, which is like this era's Republic, and the Jedi were on the other side of the war. So it ended 3 years later with the surrender of the Alliance. Cole and the rest of the Jedi withdrew back to Ossus. The Sith later attacked the Jedi, led by Darth Nihil, who's awesome. I love Darth Nihil.
What is
Cole
he
and
he's like the Lord of Hunger or something.
No. That's
Nihilus.
That's Nihilus. That's 5,000 years this or 4,000 years this way.
Let me say something. I don't know shit about Legends, so
well, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to.
I like
try
it.
to remember. This is all ABY.
yeah, that's right. It's the Skywalker lineage.
Yeah. Turns out there wasn't a Skywalker before the Skywalkers. It's weird. I know. But
She was also a virgin. She just appeared one day.
yeah.
She was the first one.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. Like there should still be a Skywalker, right? Like we just don't care about our family. All right. So where was I? So Cole and Wolf Season held off the Sith as long as so the other Jedi can get into a shuttle. I bet you can see where this is going. Darth Nihil beats the crap out of Sazin, cuts off his hand, mortally wounds him. Seeing this, Kade leaves the shuttle and all the other Padawans, so Cade's like a teenager at this time, and goes and tries to help his dad. His dad orders him to take Sazin back into the shuttle and leave with him. His son, now an apprentice to Sazin, so along with Sazin, and then a Shadow Veo, who is Cade's best friend. I'll get into all this during Cade stuff. Escaped the planet as Cole held off the Jedi, or held off the Sith, which you can see, growing trend of Skywalkers. So as the rest of the Jedi got into the shuttle and left Ossus, Cole picked up Sazin's lightsaber, dual-wielded, and killed countless Imperial soldiers and, like, dozens of really high-powered Sith. Like, this dude goes all out, and I love it. Until Darth Nihil sneaks up behind him and hits him with Force Lightning, like a really powerful display of Force Lightning, killing Cole. Cole later, say it with me, returns as a Force ghost to help his family. So yeah, that's Cole Skywalker. So I pretty much ranked him as high as I did, as number 4, just because he's only in like that one scene in the Legacy comics. Like it's in the beginning, like he just lets everybody, but you later, everyone who meets Cade is like, oh, your dad who started the Ossus Project, or your dad who was a hero of this. Like he's just this legendary badass. And yeah, just really, I really like that character. So that's Cole Skywalker.
He shows you that Luke actually succeeded and rebuilt the Jedi Order, and in Legends, he wasn't a complete failure.
Yeah, until it failed here. But it lasted like 100 and, what did I say? 127 or 130 years? Hey, man.
It only lasted like, what, 20? Not even 20 years.
No, not even 20.
It was like 10 years probably in canon.
It lasted one apprentice. Like the first school ruined it. We'll get to that.
The graduating class is the only graduating class.
Yeah.
They didn't even graduate.
I'm a super senior. Okay, no, so yeah, that's Cole Skywalker. Red hair, red mutton chops. Do we want to talk about this guy at all, or
about the mutton chops specifically?
I said the coolest thing about him with this brief exploration, since we can't go into all the detail of the story, is, I mean, it shows that Luke Skywalker's lineage continued, like his school continued. What he built in the galaxy did survive for a time until more
Sith showed up. Thank you.
It's a nice tribute to Luke. Did you guys freeze?
Yeah, you froze.
No, you froze, but I literally finished your sentence for you seamlessly. You're like, and tell him more, and I'm like, more Sith showed up, and you're like, and then, and like, it worked for me. Okay, well, let's get into your number 3.
Number 3. All right, we're in the nitty gritty, folks. The top 3.
My top 3 are nuts too. Yeah, this is gonna be good.
3,
I know what your 3 are.
Ben Solo.
Thank God.
Ben Solo is a fucking incredible character.
No, I know. Yeah, that's my favorite picture.
Yeah.
No, just saying, if it wasn't him next, I would actually be upset.
No,
if you rank him over Leia or Luke, I'd be very mad.
I was tempted to put him over Leia just because I love the real sad boy energy that he gives me in these movies. I love the conflict, man. I told you I'd talk about this scene. When he and Rey reach, nice. When they touch hands for the first time, that scene is dripping with sexual tension, folks.
Yeah, because he's shirtless and he's literally wet.
No,
he's dripping.
He's not shirtless there. A little earlier, yeah. But no, he's this person, when he starts his life, he's destined for greatness because he is the son of Han and Leia, two really powerful, important people in the galaxy, named after Ben Kenobi, one of the greatest Jedi who ever lived. And his parents, they each devoted too much of their lives to what they wanted to do and what they were doing, what they were caught up in. And he felt like he had nobody. And so when he was, I think he was 10 ish. I don't know the exact age. Sue me, I don't know. Y'all come and host this show. Somebody wants to step up and host the show. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, they sent him to train with Luke when he was really young, and the darkness in him started to grow. Snoke was like a family friend kind of thing, and he started pulling the strings from that very young age and manipulating him just as Anakin was manipulated. And so there's this breathtaking, sad, tragic moment that a lot of people don't agree with, but I love this shit, where Luke senses the darkness in him and confronts him while he's sleeping. He senses the darkness and he sees the future. He sees what's going to happen. And in that brief moment, he takes out his lightsaber and ignites it. And he immediately, split second, he looks down at what he did. And he's like, this is the worst thing I've ever done in my entire life. Imagine you have a nephew. I have a nephew. I love this kid more than anything. I cannot imagine the guilt that would weigh on you if you know that, I almost killed this kid. I almost took everything in my life and ruined it. And but it's too late. That beautiful shot, it pans down, or it tilts down, and Ben is already awake and staring right back at him. And it's it is the most heartbreaking, Luke says, I was left with shame and with consequence. That's one of my favorite moments in The Last Jedi. I love that shit so much. And I'm a big Luke fan, as you'll come to see. I'm a huge Luke fan. But that all tracks for me. I love that. And so, yeah, he turns against Luke, destroys his entire temple. He meets Rey in passing at moments during the trilogy. And they're drawn together because they are two that are one. They're the dyad, as I said before. They're both disappointed by everyone in their lives. Ben feels neglected by his parents. He feels like his uncle literally tried to murder him in his head. That's what he thinks. And then Rey, meanwhile, was sold for nothing and left on a planet back in the middle of nowhere with this person who just wants her to work for her, from that young age. Nobody cares about either of them in their heads. And so suddenly there's a person who understands that, who's just as strong as they are. And they start to reach out to each other. Their minds get bridged and their relationship starts to become less angry. And they start to realize oh, this person gets it. And they understand exactly where I feel like I am. And it boils to this head where they confront Snoke. The plan is that Rey wants to turn him to the light. He wants to turn her to the dark. They confront each other, and Kylo, at this point, you know that. He kills Supreme Leader Snoke very publicly, and he and Rey take on the Praetorian Guards. And Rey thinks everything is great. Rey's like, yes, he's good again. He killed his master. We can go live happily ever after and be Jedi together. But no, that's not how it works. He is not ready to turn. He wants Rey to join him and basically burn everything down and come with him. And there's this again, I'm all about the beautiful moments, the emotional, beautiful moments. It's all Adam Driver here. This is what's carrying it. When he extends his hand to her, and she doesn't want to take it, and he just gives this little like sad expression. And he says, "Please." It is the most. He's like a little kid. Like you're just like, oh, this guy has it so wrong, but like you know how he feels. This is the last chance that he has at somebody accepting him, and it's going down the drain. She says no. Like it's heartbreaking. So anyway, their bond gets stronger over the next year. They're still interacting with each other, and they confront Palpatine. They both basically die. Like Rey officially, while killing Palpatine, dies, and Ben's last act is to bring her back to life. And so, yeah, that's like how his legacy is remembered, is he's the one who saved Rey's life. Yeah, I love this character so much. I love Kylo.
I really wish I'm seeing the ticking clock, and I want to say like 100 things, but if we've got to get through the rest of these characters, we kind of do got to fly. But yeah, again, I want to say one thing, and then I want to ask Matt to say one thing, and then I want to move on. But you kind of nailed it. I like to think of Kylo as like an extremely powerful toddler. Like he has so much power, but none of it got refined because he ended his training so early. Like if he actually, like when we went over him on our last show, that was everything that I said. Like extremely powerful force, never really refined more than like 1 or 2 powers. Yeah. Really good at lightsaber, but never like refine any of it. Like, and yeah, that's like the whole character is power with like no skill. Like it's like all he is. Yeah.
Raw untamed power, as Snoke says.
Yep.
He's definitely, I mean, he fell when he was a Padawan, which definitely explains a lot of his character, unlike his evil reflection in Legends. And which we'll get to. And actually, one thing I would like to say that I did really like is we always see like Darksiders and Sith rise, and they always are like, now I've embraced the dark side. I am cold, ruthless, calculating evil. Kylo Ren gets fucking angry. I mean, he does break shit just out of pure emotion. That's something I
love that
Sith would do. That's like great.
Yeah. People were talking crap about like his hissy fits. I'm like, no, man, that's
what a person would do.
Yeah, I love his hissy fits.
No, another tragic thing, real quick. I don't mean to take up too much time, but the fact that he thought that all of his problems, he would be fully dark, fully brought over to where he feels like he needs to be by killing his father, and it makes his conflict worse once he does it.
Yeah,
that's like
fucks it up more.
The saddest shit. He killed his father. Like when Rey says, "Why did you hate your father?" He's like, "I didn't." Like, fuck, man. God, he's such a sad man.
I didn't kill someone I hated. I just killed somebody I loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wish we could talk about this more, but I got the most script left with no time left. All right. So my number 3. I'm sorry, Evan. We got to move on.
No, it's okay.
My number 3 is Jannah Solo. Where is she? There she is. Okay, so I have to state right now, while I was writing this script, these last 3 were at number 1 at one point. Okay, so I will say right now, I was talking to somebody, and I'm actually pretty sure the person in this chat, I was talking to her, she's like, so Jannah Solo's your number 1? Like, she would have put Jannah Solo, and she's completely right. All 3 of these are really good. Huh?
I think it's my number 1 out of the Legend Skywalkers.
All right, well, there you go. Yeah. All right, so, of course, all these start are rather the same. Born to Han Solo and Leia Organa Solo in 9 ABY, along with her twin brother Jason. She is an absolute badass. I'm going to state that right now. All right. So even before the twins were born, again, say it with me, there was attempts of kidnapping. This time there were 3 separate attempts by Grand Admiral Thrawn. Due to all these attempts, they spent their early life hiding and on the run, and the twins had many adventures as a youth. Then I'm skipping over to space adventures. Her and her brother eventually joined the Jedi Proxima on Yavin 4. When the Yuuzhan Vong attacked in 25 ABY, she distinguished herself as a Rogue Squadron pilot. There you go. Check that out. Rogue Squadron. She was on the front line a lot during the war. She earns the super awesome title by Luke of the the Sword of the Jedi, which is like one of the coolest titles ever. She also meets a fellow pilot, Jagged Fell. However, her younger brother Anakin died during the war. She almost falls to the dark side, but an epic badass who I can't get into right now, named Kip Durin, who's a super cool character, like counsels her from falling to the dark side and keeps her on the light side. Helps bring her back. She helps defeat the Vong with the use of Vong warships. Like she takes over Vong warships, or she finds a way to like reprogram them. She personally slew the War Master. I can't speak Vong. Taz Vong La during the Battle of Ebok. She fights in too many battles to even mention, and even helps with the collusion of the collusion of the war conclusion. There you go, the conclusion of the war, not the collusion. She later becomes tied in with the Killik community and fought on their side against the Chiss Ascendancy during the Darkness Crisis and the Swarm Wars. In 40 ABY, she took control of Hardpoint Squadron and fought in the Battle of Tarlis, siding with the Galactic Alliance. And after that, she and her twin brother commanded the Road Squadron during the blockade of Corellia, resulting in the split between her and Jason due to his aggressive actions. She went on a mission with Jagged Fell, only to return to learn that Jason has now completely fallen to the dark side and killed Mara Jade Skywalker, now calling himself Darth Kade. Seeking the ability to defeat her brother, she goes off and trains with Mandalorians and learns directly from Boba Fett himself, Fett saying that she was one of the best hand-to-hand fighters he has ever seen, which is like the highest praise ever coming from Boba Fett. She goes on... Where is it? Yeah, so she goes on a mission to confront her brother on his Star Destroyer that he named the Anakin Solo after his falling. Okay, so, sorry. Much like his grandfather, where am I at? Oh my god, we don't have time for this. All right, so in an intense lightsaber fight, she kills her brother, him coming back to the light right before he died, just like his grandfather. After the war, her uncle gets exiled. She does what she can do to undermine the new leadership to try to get Luke back. It doesn't work. And then she helps Luke and Ben fight Abeloth, which, again, I can't get into. Luke names her a Jedi Master. She marries the Imperial Jagged Fell, and her descendants eventually become the Fell Empire during the Legacy era.
She comes back as a Force ghost to help her family.
Probably. She's the only one who didn't. See, she's the only one who didn't sacrifice herself.
Something that Gold Leader would probably like, if any character in the extended universe informs Rey, it's Jaina. I mean, she's got the most parallels.
Well,
she's Han Solo's daughter.
Similar to them, as well.
They got that whole dyadic. Well, they got like the twin stuff going on in the Legends. Yeah,
and she's
she
also
is such a
the
badass.
pilot, the mechanic that took after her dad, Han Solo. And I believe when she became the Sword of the Jedi, didn't Luke say something like, "You will never know peace, but take comfort in the fact that you will bring peace to other people," or something like that?
Yeah.
That's a great line.
I skipped over a lot of quotes because it's kind of Evan's thing to do quotes, but there was a lot of really cool ones. Also, she gets called the Mace Windu of her time by Luke. So,
that sounds like an insult.
Well, all right, power-wise, not asshole-wise.
Yeah, no, that's a great quote. What you were saying too, something about bringing peace. That's a great. Yeah, I love.
You'll
that.
never know peace, but you'll bring
tragic.
Peace to other people. How are we gonna do this in 12 minutes? We got no way.
So you've already pretty much explained Jason Solo's history.
No, I didn't. You mind your own fucking business. No, I didn't.
We'll get it.
You don't know who my number one is. You don't know shit. You don't know shit about me.
I just want to be available when my wife gets off work because she has to walk like through the middle of Decatur like alone, and she likes to call. So like I don't know when she gets. It could be a little while off. I just wanted to be. I have a
Hi, honey. You're on the middle of a podcast. Well, I'm being mugged right now. Okay, guys. Sorry. You're live on. Let's talk about Star Wars. Well, I'm being mugged. Never mind. Bad time.
So, anyways, guys, Jason Solo. No.
Yeah.
No,
All right.
Okay. My number 2 pick is Leia Organa.
There we go.
Oh wow. Who is
That's
this?
great. That's great.
Who is that?
Probably just some horrible cosplay of it.
Oh my god!
Yes, Mr. Bean Leia.
Incredible.
God, that has ruined my childhood.
Yes, this is okay. So when people say Leia, I don't. Okay, I love not. I mean, I love Princess Leia too, but like, I don't think Princess Leia. I don't think Hutt Slayer Leia. I think of General Leia.
I think of Leia in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh.
Sorry.
Wow. Just wow.
Just a baby. And just a baby joke.
The baby Leia. No, I think her best portrayal is in The Last Jedi. I think that's the best she's ever been. So, you know, she's the Princess of Alderaan, the daughter of Anakin and Padme. She grew up in a political sphere. She eventually used her influence in the Imperial Senate to secretly support the Resistance. I'm not the Resistance, but Rebel Alliance. I have a fucking tattoo of it's the Rebel Alliance.
I don't have a tattoo, but I have a decal on the back of my car that's the Rebel Alliance. It's kind of the same
exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing.
It's no, so her home planet was destroyed by the Empire and her family was killed in the process. What?
Sorry.
I was like, wait, what?
I don't know. You went silent. It could have been me.
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Keep going.
Yeah, her family was killed when Alderaan was destroyed. She continued fighting the cause through the next 30 years. During the process, she had a child with Han Solo after the First War ended. I think it was the day the Galactic Concordance was signed. It was when Ben was born.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Her will, you kind of see her get weary over time because she's been fighting this war for so long that it's just gotten to her. And I love that. I love when characters get more sad. So she basically ends up becoming Rey's master. She uses the last bit of life she has to channel her son to try and bring him back. And that kills her. That's what it takes. Unfortunately, Carrie Fisher died, so they didn't get to film a bunch of new stuff. So it's a little vague in the movie, but I like that. When she dies or when she's dead, her body does not go anywhere; it just stays. And then when Ben dies, they disappear together because she can finally rest, and that is so beautiful to me. And then it ends. The trilogy ends with her and Luke looking at Rey, kind of embracing the next generation. Couple key moments. One of my favorite scenes that everyone hates this moment, but I fucking love it, is when Kylo is attacking the Resistance.
You're going there.
Yeah. He actively chooses to not fire on his mother because they sense each other. And he's not going to make the same mistake twice because he knows what it felt like to kill his father. And suddenly he gets flanked by 2 TIEs who send torpedoes toward the Raddus, and Leia gets sucked into the vacuum of space. It was foretold in Return of the Jedi that Leia would learn to use the power of the Force in the way that he has. And so for her, in this last moment of potentially her death, for her, the Force to reach out to her and say, no, you're not done yet. Like, get back here. You're not done. And for her to will herself to the ship against all odds, I think is fucking phenomenal. And people really misinterpret that scene. They're like people have survived in space in Star Wars before. It's fucking Star Wars. Like, it's beautiful. But I love that moment. I love the prophecy kind of being paid off in the fact that she gets to use the Force physically. Another thing, she feels when Han dies, like she can feel it through the Force, like a tremor. She's a person who's full of tragedy. She has lost everybody, and it's heartbreaking. Like she felt when her own son killed the man she loved, and I can't imagine what that feels like. And yeah, so she's an incredibly strong person I love Leia. I think Leia is incredible. That's all I got.
I wish we could talk about Leia, but we don't have a lot of time. But yeah, no, she's a amazing character. I have like things that I know would just branch off to more things if I say it, so I'm just gonna not. But yeah, perfect number 2. Matt, you got something?
I'd say Leia's my favorite incarnation of Leia is definitely when she's actually like leading the rebellion in the original trilogy and the comics and stuff like that. But all I want to say about Legends Leia is where's her lightsaber? That's the one thing that the trilogy didn't do. Where is her lightsaber?
They did a little bit.
Rey gets it.
She gets
right?
her lightsaber?
Yeah.
Rey's lightsaber is
the other blue one is Leia's.
It's shown in
Luke gives her Leia's lightsaber.
Flashback scene, correct?
I love that flashback too when Luke is training Leia. That shit kills me. I love it.
I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker in a while.
Yeah,
it's
kind of glossed over, so I understand.
It's burned in my brain, though.
I have no problem with the Force having weird Force powers. Leia can survive in Force for a second. Who cares?
I'm cool with that. I'm about to explain some really crazy Force stuff, so I'm okay with I'm okay with that. All right, I gotta get to my number 2. And my number 2 is Kade Skywalker. He's one of my favorite characters ever. He looks so horrible. It's so space 80s. I love it.
He looks like Heath Ledger.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they wanted. It never happened. Okay, so this badass was born during the Legacy era on Ossus. Yeah, exactly. Hubba. So his father being Cole Skywalker, which we got into already, and his mom was Imperial Agent Morgan Cord. When Cole was busy leading the Jedi and working on Ossus, and Cole was off not being able to be a dad, Kate spent a lot of time with his questionable Uncle Nat, becoming a Jedi under Wolf Sazin. I wish I would have had a picture of Wolf Sazin. I love this guy. He's a Zabrak, but he's got like 2 really prominent horns before his hair. Wolf Sazin's got a cool look. All right, and then his best friend,
the Tenacious D movie.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah. All right, and then his best friend, Shadow Veo, who is a blue Twi'lek Jedi, who's a really good lightsaber guy. I'm not going to get into it. So Shadow Veo was training under Cole, and Kade was training under Wolf Sazin. So at 130 ABY, the one Sith attacked Ossus, causing Cade to escape as Cole fought the Sith and the Empire. Kade uses his amazing healing to save Wolf Sazin's life, because I said Wolf Sazin got mortally wounded. Though after the escape, he decides to cut himself off from the Force, another trend, due to the trauma of watching his father being killed. He leaves the Jedi, becomes a bounty hunter, running his own ship called the Mynock, which is an awesome name of a ship, along with his friends Jara Sin and Delia Blue. Meanwhile, the Foul Empire and Darth Krayt's One Sith Order formed a partnership to defeat the Galactic Alliance and the Jedi Order. But since that goal was met, Krayt unsurprisingly betrayed the Foul Empire. Like, duh. Getting in bed with Sith, that's gonna happen. Rowan ran into exile, Krayt being weakened by his Vong implants, learning that Kade could heal his, learning about Kade's healing abilities. He starts to seek out Kade and tries to bring him to the dark side. Kade, just wanting to be a bounty hunter with his friends, gets unwillingly pulled into the power struggle between Rowan, Fell, and Krayt. After Kade turns a captured Jedi for a bounty, he agrees to give Princess Marcia Fell a ride. Kade turns, along with somebody else, Shadow Veo's sister. It doesn't matter. All right, so essentially all the Jedi meet up on one planet. Kade sees Wolf Sazin and Shadow Veo. They don't recognize Kade right away, and then the very sexy Darth Talon attacks them, causing Kade to break his cover. They fight. They escape the Sith. I'm going to rush this. I'm already rushing this. I wrote it in the script. I'm going to rush this. Cade trains with the Jedi, eventually gets caught with the Sith, trains with the Sith, and even makes out with Darth Talon. I didn't send the picture. There's a picture of them making out. It's super awesome. All right. During this time with the Sith, Darth Krayt acknowledges that Cade has more power than he has ever seen in a Jedi. Cade refuses to join the dark side fully, causing Darth Maladi to torture Cade's friends with Yorlic coral seeds. It's Yuuzhan Vong stuff. Cade is forced to use his anger to heal them, causing him great pain and go closer to the dark side. Krayt shows Cade Cole Skywalker's lightsaber that Cade has kept as a trophy, and reveals that he was once a Clone Wars era Jedi named Asherad Het. Cade fights the Sith and was able to beat both Talon and Nihil, and he escapes. He returns to his uncle Nat. I'm going to skip over a bunch of stuff. He meets more Jedi. They do some more missions. Krayt is betrayed by his ally, Darth Warlock III, and then he comes back to life, way more powerful, no longer with the Vong implants, kills Darth Warlock. Long story short, somehow, yeah, there you go. Returns to his uncle just to see his uncle die. He leads a strike team of Sazin, Shadowveo, a bunch of other people. I have them all written, but I'm moving over it. And a former childhood sweetheart named Elzin Ray to kill Krayt once and for all. He totally does. He totally kills Krayt. He decides to drive him and Krayt's body into the sun because he feels like his destiny was all he was living for, and he finally did it. He killed Krayt, and he felt like he had no reason to live. So he goes totally suicidal. And it's like written that way, where he's like, why do I need to live now? I did my destiny. Like, leave me alone, essentially. Like, he's telling life to get off his back. So, of course, Luke Skywalker shows up as a Force ghost and convinces him not to kill himself. And so he just, like, ghost rides the ship with Krayt's body into a sun. And he pieces out, never to, like, hang out with anyone ever again, because that's as far as canon ever went. Or, I mean, Legends ever went. And he goes and lives in peace. And that's Kade Skywalker. Kade Skywalker. Whew.
You did it. Nice.
I was not stuttering this bad in the first one.
That was good, though. You did
So-
well.
But there's all the Cade names. Cadus, Cole, Krayt, Cade, like, gets me.
Tell me if I'm right, Mark. There's one aspect of Cade that I haven't read all of the comic books. I've only looked at a few, but doesn't he kind of start off like Han Solo with Force powers?
What do you mean, like none?
No, he comes
No,
from
like,
like
character
living
with
in
power.
the character. He comes from living in like the piracy or smuggling. Or
Yeah.
like
He's
that.
a bounty hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, bounty
He's
hunter.
also a Sleeg Bagano's Death Sticks user. So whenever Luke Skywalker, I left this out, but Luke Skywalker would visit him in the Force, and he would light up Death Sticks to ignore him, to like get
Right.
Wrapped in
like
the Force a
I
little
actually
bit.
knew about that part, too.
yeah, that's so
That's great.
awesome.
That's
Like, what's
awesome.
that, dude? I'm doing drugs. Leave me alone. Great grandfather Force.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yes, Sleeg Bagano. God. Well, there goes us ending before an hour and 30 minutes in.
That's okay. We only got one more each.
One more each.
Let's plow
Yeah,
through.
and it's my shortest one. It's an entire page. Okay, you think everyone knows who my number one is. You think I can sum that character up in less than a page? It wasn't easy.
I
All right,
just can't understand how he's going to get Uncle Baru or if he's going to do Aunt Owen or Uncle Owen or Aunt Baru as his number one. That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah. Are you telling me that Clay Glars is your number one? Clay Glars. Dude,
Vicious,
does
mindless
that guy
monsters.
that guy not burp out every one of his lines? What's your name? Clay Glars.
No, he's like, it's
Dimension monster.
Glars.
I bought your mom and married her. It was consensual. Trust me.
It was much better than her staying there. Trust me. No. Okay, my number one Skywalker is C-3PO. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, okay. Oh, no.
There you go.
That's good.
That's good.
They gave her the tauntaun.
That's Oh, C-3PO. No, I'm just kidding. It's Luke.
Wait. Your Ray's gonna die before you hit the first marker. Then I'll see you in hell. All right, sorry, keep going.
Nice reference to my
No.
match.
I know. Oh, by the way, amazing match. By the way,
Thank you.
Loved it. And I'm glad that I asked you one question and you got it right. So now I can say I trained you.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's like how Obi-Wan could say Yoda trained him.
Yeah. my first training. Go learn from him. Thank you, Master.
No, Luke Skywalker. Throw that picture up again. It's beautiful. That scene. No, not that one. There we go. I love this scene so much. I'll get into that in a little bit. I love Luke Skywalker, specifically in The Last Jedi. That's like peak Luke for me. He's the son of Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala. He was a farm boy. Princess Leia, she got to live in royalty, and he got to live in nothing. He got to live in the dirt. So he was a farm boy who wanted a greater life. He saw all of his friends go to the academy, which is like the Imperial Academy. What? Like,
yeah, I know, right? They kind of brushed over that.
Yeah. So he wanted something more for his entire life. When I was a little more angsty, the little angsty 17-year-old me was very into this character. Like, I already love Luke anyway, but like, there's something very angsty about this character. Like, you can really relate to him. People say he's whiny, but like, nobody can look at me and say that they haven't felt like him at some point. They haven't felt like I need to do something more with my life than I'm doing. And he's the most relatable character, I think, in Star Wars. And he does some great deeds. He destroys the Death Star. He confronts his greatest fear in surrendering himself over to Vader. And he believes that Vader can be turned from the dark side. He believes that he can be brought back. The philosophy that's given in The Last Jedi, no one's ever really gone, is crucial to his character. And it works. Vader redeemed himself. He saves Luke's life at the cost of his own. In the future, Luke trains Ben Solo and is the motivating force behind his fall to the dark side, as I emotionally explained before. And after he fails with Kylo Ren, he becomes this old curmudgeon. Throw up the second picture one more time. Thank you. So Rey gives him his lightsaber back. And to him, that is the symbol of his greatest failure. A lot of people didn't get with this decision either. They were like, it is kind of played comically, like a little bit, but like it's more to shock you into like, oh shit, this is not what you think. Yeah. And it works. Like, I think it's like, that is the symbol of that's like, the lightsaber is like the legend of Luke Skywalker. It should be his green lightsaber. That's a JJ problem. That's not a Rian Johnson problem. It should be like why would they have the Bespin lightsaber? It was lost. I don't know. Anyway, but when you give him the symbol of the legend of Luke Skywalker, and he's spent the last like 10 years of his life rejecting that, of course he's going to chuck that shit over his shoulder. Like, he's this old curmudgeon. Like, he doesn't want anything to do with his past life anymore. So when Rey shows up, she's like, train me. And he's like, all right, but I'm going to teach you why the Jedi need to be over, why that way of thinking is outdated and flawed. He denounces the legend of Luke Skywalker because the idea of an infallible hero is unrealistic and dangerous. His hubris and fear, according to him, is what created Kylo Ren. And it could happen again. He believes he's doing the right thing by being on this island, away from everything. Like, the Jedi, in his mind, are best kept out of things, which a lot of people would agree with. And Rey discovers what happened with Kylo Ren, and she leaves. And then, in a beautiful moment, Luke has a heart-to-heart with his former master, Yoda. And you realize that Luke is just the same old kid he always was, just learning these little lessons that he did not have any idea about before that. Like, Yoda is just this eternal teacher, and Luke is always looking at the horizon and not the need that's right in front of him.
Oh my God. You're gonna give me the tears.
It's beautiful. It's fucking awesome. He comes
I think
up,
Yoda's monologue is the most.
Yeah, I love it. I love that shit. Like, and Luke is like threatening. He tells Yoda, "I'm gonna burn this shit down. I don't give a fuck about the Jedi anymore. I'm gonna burn the temple down." And Yoda's like, "Okay, fuck it. I'll burn it down." Even though the texts were already taken,
burn it down, fuck it, I will. Is what.
Right? Yeah, that's true. That's right. My translator here. But yeah, no, that's so. Yoda teaches Luke probably the most valuable lesson that he's ever learned, and that is that the failure that the way to overcome the failure that you've had in your life is to accept it, to embrace it, and to teach others about it, and why that's the wrong way of thinking. And so when Yoda told him to pass on everything he'd learned, the fear and the failure is included. And so he shows up last minute. The Resistance is pinned on Crate. And in one last Force Hercules effort, Luke projects his essence across the galaxy to buy the Resistance valuable time to escape when they're on their last leg. And they successfully escape, but that takes all of the life out of Luke, and that's how he dies. That's his dying breath is essentially creating the legend of Luke Skywalker again for people to believe in. You see these children at the end of the movie telling the story of Luke standing up to the First Order. And it's so meaningful. These kids on the other side of this nowhere planet heard this story, and it means something to them. That's why it's so great. One of the tearjerkers in Rise of Skywalker is when all those ships show up. It's the galaxy having hope. And it's Luke's effort here is crucial to that, I think. So later on, Rey tries to leave her own problems behind, and then Luke convinces her not to do that and to embrace her destiny and to face Palpatine. And yeah, it's great. Key moments with Luke, obviously the binary sunset. That's the big one. That's, everyone has felt like that kind of Luke. One really quick underrated moment. Nobody talks about this one. People talk about the Vader saying it is too late for me son thing, but no one talks about this moment with Luke. It is when Luke is leaving Dagobah to go confront Vader. And there's this beautiful, I get chills every time this scene happens. He's, preparing his X-Wing. He's getting the snakes out of the engines and shit. And Obi-Wan says, Obi-Wan and Yoda are trying to convince him to not go. He should finish his training because it's too dangerous. And so Obi-Wan says, if you choose to face Vader, you'll do it alone. I can't interfere. And then Luke takes this brief moment, and he's like, I understand. And then it cuts to Yoda, and his face just drops. He's surprised. He's surprised that Luke would take as bold of a step as this. He's like, oh, shit, these people really mean something to Luke. And then after that, after they realize they can't convince him, they're like, all right, be careful. Go do what you need to do and go save these people because we're not going to stop you. Go do it. And he does. He successfully does it. It's earth-shattering, the revelation that he gets. But, that moment just always gets me. Watch Yoda's face. Next time you see that scene, the puppetry is so immaculately performed. It's beautiful. Frank fucking Oz. It's awesome.
Frank fucking Oz. He also directed Blues Brothers.
Yeah. Wait, no, that's...
No, he's just in it.
Oh, I was about to say, he directed something. He directed Little Shop of Horrors.
That's it.
Yeah.
I know he's in a lot of the old Bill Murray movies. That's yeah.
Weird. Anyway, Carrie Fisher too was in Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
Classic. But yeah, no.
Great movie.
So that's Luke. I love this guy. I think he's further proof that I love this guy. I have this on my desk at all times.
Nice.
I fucking love Luke. Especially in The Last Jedi. I think that's his best portrayal. It's just me.
I have to speak on Luke. I mean, we're talking about Luke. Since you're talking about your favorite scene, I have to say my favorite scene in all of Star Wars and probably cinema, as a whole, because Empire Strikes Back I consider 10 out of 10. And him and Yoda in the hut, in his little hut when he's just how far is Yoda? And he's just rushing, and Yoda's already schooling him, and he doesn't realize it. And Yoda's just trying to be annoying, and he's just testing his patience. And then the fucking Yoda monologue is my favorite. It makes me cry thinking about it.
Yeah,
I'm just I can't teach him. He has no patience. He will learn patience. And that years you have looked away to the future, to the horizon, never on where you are, what you are doing. It is such a good scene. And it's not just because of Yoda's monologue, but Luke immediately realizes, like, yeah, no shit. Like, why am I rushing? Why am I doing this? Like, yeah, and I don't know, man. I fucking love that movie.
That scene, like when Yoda's going from being a dick to like or when Luke says, "I don't even know what I'm doing here. We're wasting our time," and he gets frustrated, and Yoda's like, "I can't teach this kid. Like, I don't know what you want. I'm not going to teach this guy,
dude."
And he realized, oh, it's beautiful.
Pass or fail, dude, and you failed.
And he tries to stand up to like defend himself, and he bumps his head. It's perfect. It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Even Luke, the young farm boy in A New Hope, is an enjoyable, great character.
Oh,
he's
no.
The entire original trilogy, most definitely.
I get tears when Luke shows up for the first time, when he's just running over to talk to Aunt Beru, and they do that like Star Wars fanfare kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
but
like,
I love him and Han just constantly trying to outdo each other, competition.
100%. What do you think? You think a princess and a guy like
it's probably the best. Luke, at least in the original trilogy, the Rich Tridge, is probably the best example of the Joseph Campbell hero's journey. Like, it is probably the example.
The most iconic.
It's the modern equivalent. I think that's the one that it's the modern
Bilbo
myth.
Who, or not Bilbo, Frodo Who,
and even like. Obviously, with thousands and thousands of stories from Legends where Luke maintains being a heroic figure for most of it. So the shock for what they did with him in Last Jedi for old head fans like me was difficult.
Yeah.
But
I did that too.
But then you look at like the subtext in the conversation you're talking about between Yoda and Luke, and I feel like their initial draft of the script was like, what is wrong with the Jedi? It always rises to the Sith. Every time they build a Jedi Order, a bunch of dark Jedi destroy the galaxy. Yeah. I feel like that was half the dialogue before they cut it and turned it more towards the character-centric story. So it really does fit.
It's like, it makes perfect sense to me that Luke would be, the last time we saw him, he did throw down his weapon to like, by the way, fucking awesome moment too, and one of my favorite lines is the whole "I'm a Jedi like my father before me" thing.
Fuck yes.
Because the most brilliant things that Luke does are the moments of non-violent, like standing up to bullshit. Like when he's choosing to die before killing Vader, and then he non-violently threatens the entire First Order. It's beautiful. Like that's where he's best.
Okay, we have to stop. I have like 8 things I have to say, and I have to block them all. Fuck.
Luke is great.
I have so many things I want to say right now, but I want to kill this episode within 2 hours, okay? We're going to shave off 40 minutes from last time, and maybe our next episode we can end at an hour and a half.
Yes.
What were you thinking? An hour 15? Are you kidding me? No way. Was that ever? I looked at my script.
You came with that fucking 30-page Word document. I'm like
4 pages. I mean, I use really small text. So it was 30. I condensed.
No spaces.
That'd be so funny if I was like, guys, it's only 1 page, and I whipped out a magnifying glass. All right. Nice. Can I move? Can I do my number 1? All right. My number 1 is Shmi Skywalker. Nice. Yeah, didn't see that shit coming. My number 1 is Clicklers. All right. Of course, it is Darth Kade / Jason Solo. No, that is Uber Jason Solo.
That's Uber Jason Solo. By the way,
you go.
I don't want to disrupt the flow of that, but that was a quick Photoshop while you were talking about like some other Skywalker a long time ago. I was like, let me do this real quick and send it to Soda.
Uber Jason was?
Yeah, the lightsaber part of it.
So funny that you're just like, oh, Jason Solo, huh? Oh, you got me.
Uber Jason Solo.
Uber Jason. Because, they call that Uber Jason is when he dies
the
in
Robo
space.
Jason, yeah.
Uber Jason
X
is the fan.
Awesome.
I love that movie. It's actually up there like my top 3 of the Friday 13th.
I agree.
The nitrous oxide death where they dip her head and then
great.
Oh my god. All right, cool. So Darth Kade / Jason Solo. Fuck it, let's just talk about Jason Voorhees. Kidding. All right. So being that Jason has the same like younger years as Jaina, I can skip pretty much all of that, kidnapping plots, whatever. So when he was 13, him and his sister were sent to the Jedi Paraxium to train under, for Jedi training. So there they made several little Jedi friends, including the Happen Princess, Tanel Hapen. Is it Hapen?
Hapen.
Okay. I mean, how do you know how it's said when it's just in books that I like? How do you know it's Hapen and not Happen? Yeah, deal with it. Screw you. All right.
Oh,
So
Hapen. I don't know how I know that much.
you also used to call it Corsicant, okay? Corsicant. Used to say it all the time. Learn how to read. All right. I thought there were two planets. I thought there was Coruscant and Corsicant because of Matt. I thought Corsicant was just this other random planet that he kept using.
If George Lucas can say Goongas, he can say whatever the fuck he wants.
That's right.
All right. Anyway, so he falls in. One of his Jedi friends is the Hapen Princess Tanel Ka-Jo. God, Star Wars names. Who he developed a mad crush on. They went on many space adventures and stuff that we're all gonna just skip. In 28 ABY or 24 ABY, he and Anakin become apprentice of Luke Skywalker. And Jason was very much the philosopher of the Force. So he struggled with the idea of using violence to confront violence. And this being said, he stayed off the front line. So when the Yuuzhan Vong attacked, he pretty much stayed off the front lines completely. So when Jana was off doing stuff with the Rogue Squadron, he was just like, hanging out in a library because that's how he rolls. So this was until the attack on the Voxing Queen that Anakin put together. So this back when remember when I was talking about Anakin? So he felt obligated to join the strike team. This mission, of course, turned really sour, and it led to his brother being overrun by Vong. Seeing this, Jason took over the mission, killed the Vong Queen, the Voxing Queen himself, ending the threat. He then was captured by the Vong, spending a year in captivity, and this year was like absolutely horrible. Like it completely sucked. He spent weeks at a time being tortured, like weeks straight, by the Embrace of Pain, which is considered the absolute most painful thing in the entire galaxy. Did I go sideways there for a second? Sorry. His torturer, Vergery, I hate Star Wars names, a fallen Fosh Jedi, slowly became his mentor. He temporarily used the dark side to get through the Embrace of Pain, though he would always come back to the light. He eventually escaped the Vong alongside Verger, whatever. He rejoined the war effort on the front line, and including the final battle of the war. He stormed the Supreme Overlord Shamar Jaman's citadel and defeated the only Force-sensitive Vong. Anami? God damn, I wish I knew how to read these. I'm so bad at reading English, let alone Yuuzhan Vong. So Anami was the only Force-sensitive Yuuzhan Vong, and it was actually, they found out, was controlling the Supreme Overlord. So in order to defeat this guy, Jason experienced a moment of complete unity with the Force. So much like when his brother died, but this time he went full on, his entire body glowed white. Though he says that he most likely can never achieve this again, but he pretty much like ascended into being a being of Force.
He went
which is
sicko
just
mode, is what you're saying?
Yeah, he went Super Saiyan. He went Super Skywalker. It was nuts.
No.
And he can never get it again. No, actually, if we want to use Dragon Ball Z references, he went to Ultra Instinct, essentially. It's like, what happened? Okay, there's my Dragon Ball Z reference.
Real quick, Taylor Cleek is in the group chat right now.
Oh, what's up, Taylor Cleek? Who's that?
He is the manager of the Rager Rick Radis.
Oh, what's up? I got Rick Radis on one of my fantasy teams, and he's been giving me a lot of points, so keep managing him well. And I am the taco portion, and I'm going right now. You're in the middle of the taco portion. What's up, baby? What's up? All right, so where were we just We just ended the war. After the war, they went back to New York.
Oh, hell yes. Let's go.
I almost wrote that in because I kept going after the war. I almost went after the war. They went back to New
Hamilton
York.
So much, man.
Dude, I love me some after the war went back to New York. After so anyways, so he went full on. he went full on lifetime.
Is that what that is?
What?
The move on photo, is that what every time that comes up? Is that
just keep going.
Yeah.
All right.
No, actually, that's just me agreeing that I love Hamilton as well.
That's how. That's how I always get it. All right. So he said he could never achieve this again.
Yes, wrap it up soon, please.
I'm working on it. Stop interrupting me. After
Try and
the
get
war,
a weapons back, by the way.
he spent 5 years. 5 years away from his family. During this time, he met and learned from various Force-using groups. During this time, he met with the Force Walkers, which are essentially like time travelers. Like they use the Force to like go all throughout time. And he gets a glimpse of, this is like the easiest foreshadowed twist ever, but he gets a glimpse of a dark figure ruling the galaxy. I wonder who that is. And Jason vows to prevent it. Oh, whoa. So Anakin again. All right. He returns to the Jedi with a more ruthless attitude because that's how you stop the dark. All right. Also at this time, he has a secret daughter. He goes and has a secret daughter with the Hapen, was it princess? Yeah. Tanel Joe. What?
I was like Queen, Princess, something like that.
Queen, yeah, whatever they are over there in Happenland. Happening. It's very happening over there. He fights in the Darkness Crisis, using the need to protect his daughter to justify being more ruthless, and he conspires to eliminate the Killiks completely. So in 40 ABY, he meets Dark Lady Lumayo, who I totally want to use in a Versus video, by the way. I want to use Kade, too. I want you to know those are the two I need to use eventually. They are both amazing. All right. And agrees to become her Sith apprentice. He spends a year getting darker and darker, taking Ben Skywalker as an apprentice and sending him on violent missions after violent missions. Ben, not knowing that he's gone full Sith, and then he takes over control of the Galactic Alliance Guard, or the GAG, which is an awesome name, the GAG, and eventually takes over the GAG completely, and then takes over the Galactic Alliance as a whole. And he finally goes full Sith after he kills Mara Jade, and then he starts to torture his cousin Ben, which I left out of Ben's. I don't know why. And he achieves some of the most insane force powers. So I can't get into all of the crazy ass force powers this dude gets, but like literally like stopping people's hearts and giving people brain aneurysms with the force, like yeah, he just goes full on holy shit. And yeah, he's just super terrifying. During this time, he tries to turn his brother's former squeeze, his former lady Tahari, by letting, this is so sad, honestly. So he lets her force walk, because he learns how to do that, and he brings her back in time and gives her the final kiss with Anakin. So this time she takes it because she knows Anakin's gonna die. So she lives in her body and she gives Anakin that smooch before he dies so she can finally do it. So it doesn't really change anything. So he uses that to like tempt her in and then turns her into his dark side apprentice. So now she's his official Sith apprentice. We got 2 pages left. I'm kidding. All right. Now, no.
That was fantastic.
You're just prolonging it. All right. All right. No longer Jason Solo. He is now Darth Kade. He tries to. Am I still here? All right, cool. He tries to follow in his grandfather's footsteps. In many ways, he actually succeeds. He goes toe-to-toe with the most powerful Jedi at the time, including Kyle Katarn, Grandmaster Luke. Eventually, Janna leaves a Jedi strike team onto his ship, the Anakin Solo, and she defeats his twin. With him dying in her arms, he realizes that he was the dark figure a little too late, and that he was trying to prevent, and he redeems himself at the last minute, and he dies as Jason Solo. Not as Darth Kade. And guess what? Oh, that's my script.
Now the next one.
Yeah.
That's a big ass thing.
All right. That's like literally 40 books. Okay, my bad.
All right,
You know how
guys.
many
Now back to my
missions
real
I had
number
to
one pick,
skip?
C-3PO, folks. C-3PO is the
Play
greatest
Lars.
Skywalker who ever lived.
All right, so next week we'll be ranking our solos.
Oh my
I will
God.
use all these again.
All two of them.
It's just recycling scripts over there, Mike. It's all
3 of them.
3?
Anakin. Yeah, Anakin always gets missed. Anakin, Jaina, and
No,
I'm talking
saying
about
for
Legends.
for canon. Like you would get
Yeah, Han
you
and
would get
Han
the
and Ben.
Legends, and I would just get the canon one.
I would give Matt actually knows a lot. Don't you know a lot about the older solos? You once went on a big diatribe about stuff.
Solo's always been my favorite part of Star Wars. So.
In the original draft of Empire, the Lee Brackett draft, like Han Solo's dad was like a really regal, like wealthy person. Like they went to him instead of Lando in the original draft. So that's kind of weird. Like I don't know what that is in Legends at all, but. No.
I was too busy reading. Taylor Cleek said, "Are you familiar with the bigger Luke theory?" No, is that a joke?
I
Okay.
think it's specifically that there are some scenes that involve Luke, but a little bit taller. I don't know what I've heard that it's a long story.
It's like okay.
I'm familiar with.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah.
No, I have no clue. I'm gonna Google it when
Yeah.
we're done. So yeah. Do we want to talk at all about Jason Solo, aka the first Kylo Ren? And can you please see why us Legends guys are like, that's what you're gonna do? You're doing Kylo? I don't know. I love Jason Solo so much. I think if you want to do a Fallen Jedi, I love the idea of the spending 5 years to learn everything about the Force and then completely only going to the dark side, because once you get out of the tiny little bubble that is the Jedi teaching, you're like, oh, okay, so I can actually be way more fucking powerful.
Right.
And most of the really dangerous ones don't fall in their Padawans like Kylo, because they do go through the heroic Jedi arc. They are the hero of a great war or something like that.
You're right. Kylo skipped it. He's like, maybe I can fight some intergalactic aliens, and maybe I can do some other stuff, or I'm just gonna fucking turn down. My uncle looked at me weird when I was sleeping. I'm fucking this place up. I'm gonna burn this whole Jedi to the ground.
At the same time, reviewing all these classic Legends characters does make me realize why Disney did it. 40 books.
Yeah, I know, for
40
real.
books.
It's a lot.
And that's not even the Han, Leia, Luke books. That's the ones that follow the Han, Leia, Luke books.
All right, I have to bring this up, and it's just gonna piss off Evan. But all right, what was Luke doing standing over him when he was sleeping before he even had that vision? How often do you just go in and stare at guys like, Was he just staring at him when he's sleeping? That's creepy. No wonder why some dark side stuff. Oh yeah,
he was looking into his mind.
Yeah, more than just his mind he was looking at.
Again, that's our last
He
show.
wasn't powerful enough to force project yet. That was the problem.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I honestly, I would have had the same reaction of Kylo if he wasn't holding a lightsaber. If I would have woke up and Luke was just like standing over me, I'd be like, ah! And just destroyed everything. Like, that's already creepy. Get out of here, man.
Taylor says what I agree with. You got to check on your homies.
Oh yeah, you just
gotta.
All right, Matt. I'm gonna come and stare at you sleeping later, just to make sure you're fine.
Yeah,
just to check on it.
If you drive that far, you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't hang out with you. I hang out with your wife when you're sleeping, and then I leave. Yep. Katie's the cooler one, anyways. I miss your wife more than I miss you. She's awesome. She's your better half. Anyway,
guys.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for Matt for coming in. I'm glad we got through my huge script. And Evan, you make me like characters I hate, and I don't know how. I feel like I'm being mind tricked.
It's working. It's working.
Another one I was gonna say when you're like, oh, and that scene when Anakin's leaving Shmi, and I was like, and Anakin yells, "Yippee!" Like, "Yippee! Bye, Mom!"
No, George Lucas writes kids as if they're still from the 50s. That's the
No fooling! I get to be a Jedi. Oh golly!
no fooling. That's why all the kids are saying wizard and shit, and they're all going to go buy a soda from the corner store.
That's so wizard, Annie.
Well, all they
That's not
cared
even-
about hot rodding in their pods too.
Yes.
So,
Let's go play what
Anakin's-
kind of ball?
Yeah, let's go play ball. Anak's got a pack of cigarettes rolled up in his sleeve.
that
Let's
would,
go.
if he did, that would have made the fall to Vader more believable. From
Yeah.
that side.
He went-
I blame the schools.
He whips out the switchblade comb.
Yeah,
Let's go
exactly.
play ball. See you later. You're gonna be bombed the food.
Nice. Fantastic.
Anyways, can we just write in the outsiders into tattooing? Like just
I think
that group?
he does have a leather robe in Revenge of the Sith. So
Yeah.
that's different
That's
from
badass.
other Jedi. I don't know. That's like the bad boy.
Yeah, he's like, I'm like the cool one. All right, well, your dogs really want us to end. And by the way, they were arguing with you the entire time.
Wait,
Was that a different dog now?
That is
that's
my
my
dog.
dog.
Oh my god.
My dogs are pipsqueaks.
That would be so funny if I also have a dog in my house. Like, oh my god,
Oh no, Jesus!
I didn't even own one of you. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Everyone who joined in the chat, please be here next week where we're doing something that I have not prepared at all yet. But it's going to be a versus against. Where's Leia? Or where's Padme? She died. Yippee! Okay. No. Anyways, we're doing a versus video against two canon characters, but they're obscure enough that I'm okay with it. And it's the Grand Inquisitor from Rebels versus
Peru.
Cal Kestis. What?
Versus on Peru.
Yeah, versus on Peru. Yeah. Anyways, Cal Kestis from the Jedi Fallen Order video game, my favorite ginger Jedi next to Ben Skywalker, versus the Grand Inquisitor. Essentially, our idea was, what if the Inquisitors kind of switched and the second sister went after the Rebels crew and the Grand Inquisitor went after Cal Kestis? That's kind of like the idea because they're all around at the same time. So we're going to look at their force abilities, their lightsaber skills, their bios, everything there is to know about them, and we're going to decide who we think is going to win between those two Sith Inquisitor, or not Sith Inquisitor, Imperial Inquisitor, and Fallen Jedi. And yeah, that's next week. Tune in, all you lovely people. And Evan, do you want to tell people where they can find you and do all that good stuff and what you got going on?
Find me. Look up my podcast. We don't post that frequently, but we try to do like every 2 weeks. It is Nobody's Watching Anyway. It's only on Facebook, like I said, because we're old. I don't know why I don't know. We're just too lazy. Nobody's Watching Anyway is what it's called. Go check it out. Also, I have a cartoon on YouTube called Taxi Service. It's, just look up my page. Look up Evan Bushcar and you can see all this shit. I don't know. Just go find me. Go find me.
I'm not. You find my plugs. They're out there.
Yeah, they're out there somewhere. You got it.
And besides running into you at the store, where else can people find you, man?
I believe more people have seen me at the store.
Mitch Hedberg, you caught it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, and I'm also a Schmodown competitor. I have a match coming up with Zach Burkett on June 9th. So check it out, folks. I'm a Star Wars guy on there. So
and he just had a perfect game, and I'm one of his trainers, by the way.
That's true. That's true. He's doing all the work, all the heavy lifting.
Matt, do you have anything?
I don't have anything to promote. I just say tune back into these guys and hear them talk more about Star Wars. And if you liked me, tell them that, and they'll have me come back.
I want you in on our fourth show. I think we're looking at 50 Shades of Geek, but it might not be a bad idea to have 4 people for the "Is this alien from Star Wars or not?" show. I think if we have 4 people for that one,
That's kind of what I was thinking as well. I think that would be a great episode.
Yeah, because for 4 people, I mean, it's going to be
Game
the
show.
most chaotic one. It's not going to be a lot of scripts. It's going to be a lot more fun. We can have 4 people.
That'll be good.
But thanks for showing up, Matt.
Thank you for having me.
I mean,
And I
you
got
only
one
talked
already.
like twice.
Mark
But it's great.
Taco-Walker is not an alien.
No, not quite. Well, it depends on where you're from.
I'm an
If you're from
illegal
Mars,
alien.
he's an alien.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Tune in on us next week. That doesn't make sense. And yeah, we'll be here at the Schmoes Know, and I'll also be on Friday shows and sometimes Sunday shows talking about not the Schmoes Know, sorry, Schmoes of the North, talking about the Schmoes. They're not using that name anymore. Can we just call our show the Schmoes Know?
Christian has
We're talking. We talk about the Schmoedown on I'm on the Friday show, but they also do the Sunday shows. And check out Schmoes of the North. That's where you are now. So the subscribe button's right there. You don't even have to click away. And yeah, man, like thanks.